Welcome everyone. Before we get into today's video discussing CGC and CBCS, I would like to take less than 60 seconds to talk about today's sponsor, PopCultureZone.com. PopCultureZone.com is an online shop focusing on hot new comics, including exclusive and incentive variants, CGC graded comics, and tons of other inventory, including pop culture toys and other collectibles, all at low and competitive prices. PopCultureZone.com ships all over the US, and if you are buying raw comics, they offer flat rate shipping of only $4.99. That's right, $4.99. Absolute craziness, right? And there's no taxes included, excluding New Jersey. Pop Culture Zone is also on eBay, where they hold a 100% positive feedback rating with over 8,000 completed transactions for this year alone. Make sure to check out the link to their website below, as well as their eBay link, so be sure to give them a follow there as well. What's going on, everyone? Chris with Journos Comics and Pop Culture. We have been talking about CGC quite a lot as of late, obviously due to the most recent price increases that just took place about 8 days ago, and we're going to talk about CGC and CBCS a little more here today, because I am here to tell you that yes, CGC is cheaper than CBCS. There's a little asterisk at the end of that though. But before I explain and get into that, of course, if you aren't subscribed to the channel, please take some time to do so. Check out all the awesome links below as well. Let's get into the topic at hand. So I'm sitting here telling you all that CGC is cheaper than CBCS, even factoring in 2 price increases in less than a year. That's right. Even with this most recent one that took effect January 18th, there is a tier from CGC that is cheaper than CBCS. So, I said there was a little asterisk. Basically, that means that most tiers at CBCS are indeed cheaper. Let's look at all of the tiers though, and I'm going to show you guys which one is actually cheaper with CGC. So a lot of you might be familiar with CGC's website, CGC services and fees. These are the standard tier breakdowns for grading comic books. You have your modern, which is 1975 to present at a $400 value. Now keep in mind, value absolutely matters when it comes to tiers. That is $24. You have your economy tier, which is anything pre-1975 up to a value of $400, $35 fee. Now you get into your premium tiers. What does premium mean? Premium means there is a change in price or value that makes it a premium tier. And this means value of comic book. So your standard tier is a premium tier because this tier is specific for comics that are at a higher value from the 2 previous tiers, the modern and the economy. So standard tier is any book from 1975 to present or even earlier than 1975, but has a higher value above $400. And of course, lower than $1,000. That's $80. Whew, that's tough to swallow right there. So do you all see how value of the comic book matters? And keep in mind, CGC and CBCS, if you submit a book that's, say, a modern book, and you submit it under the modern tier, and you're estimating, because when you submit books, they ask the value. Say you say the value is $320. They're going to look at that book in the process, and if they value that book for higher than $400, say they value it at $450, you know what they're going to do? They're going to upcharge you. They're going to upcharge you to the standard tier, and they're going to add it to that tier and charge you a different shipping fee, because they're going to ship it. They ship their tiers out in separate shipping labels. So you're going to be hit with a lot more money if you're not on top of valuing your comics appropriately. All right, we're not going to go down into the Express and all of those, reholders and things, but let's look at CBCS. So their tiers here start with the modern. Again, this is very similar to CGC's. Modern and expanded. Modern, 1975 to present. Non-members, $18. Members, $16. So this tier looks to be much cheaper than CGC. But let's look at the one thing that's going to come into play here. Valued up to $250. CBCS's modern tier is only for comic books that are up to $250 value, whereas CGC's modern tier is up to a $400 value. Let's look at their expanded tier. That's pre-1975. CBCS's expanded tier is the same as CGC's economy tier, right? Except for one thing, value. This is only up to a $250 value, not a $400 value like at CGC. Non-members $30, members $27. CBCS has another tier, though, that is a bit different than anything CGC offers, and it's called a consumer tier. It's a little more expensive than both of these tiers, 30 for non-members, 30 for members. But this is a premium tier. Why is it premium? Because it's for higher valued books. So this is basically for books of any year, whether they're modern or pre-modern, but they have a value that ranges between $251 and $400. Now they have their quick stream here that's valued. These are more premium tiers because they're for higher valued books, similar to, the ones at CGC. What was it called again? Their Express. It's valued up to $3,000. These could be a lot cheaper than CGC because they have two tiers up to $1,150 and then up to $2,000 that are only, roughly in the $50, $45 to $58 range. Whereas if a lot of the books or most of the books that would fall into these tiers for CBCS would essentially be only able to fall into this express tier the standard tier, I apologize, that's $80. So you'd be saving a lot of money going to CBCS for these tiers. Their rapid tier is valued up to $4,000, which is similar to the express tier that's valued up to $3,000. But again, you have a little more wiggle room with CBCS because instead of the $3,000 value with CGC, it's valued up to $4,000. My focal point today, folks, is the consumer tier. This consumer tier is a tier that picks certain books and throws them into a tier that is essentially cheaper than CGC. And I'm going to tell you what books those are. They are any book published from 1975 to current, and they have to have a value that ranges between $251 and $400. So let me think of an example. Let's say I have a Wolverine limited series #1 in a 9.2. I'm going to say, I'm just going to guess. I'm just throwing this number out there. I'm going to say a 9.2 Wolverine #1 limited series sells for about, I don't know, like I said, I'm estimating. Let's just say it sells for $300 to $350. But anyways, I'm just trying to show you that there are books out there. There are plenty of books out there that are going to be from this range of publication date that are going to be valued at anywhere from $251 to $400. If you sent those books to CGC, remember what I said, they're going to be a modern book that's ranged from $251 to $400. Well, what would those fit into at CGC? They would still fit into the modern tier. But at CBCS, they don't fit into the modern tier. Why? Because the value's too high. So boom, they're going to be bumped up to the consumer tier. $34 or $30 for members. Guys, you're going to be paying $10 less at CGC if you're not a member of CBCS for books that are published between 1975 to current that have a value of $251 to $400. If you have a membership with CBCS and you pay the $30, you would still save $6 going with CGC. Now, a lot of you may be thinking, well, I'm just gonna lie about the value. I'm just gonna say that all these values, if I have a comic book that I think is worth anywhere between say 251 to even say, I don't know, $500 or something, I'm just gonna lie and say it's worth 250 so I can get it back in that modern tier and only pay $16 or $18 for it. Remember what I said. These companies value the books before they bill you. And if they feel that the value of that book is higher than what you stated on your invoice, they will upcharge you. They will upcharge you and you will get hit with the proper fees that they see fit. It's not smart to do. It is always smart to be honest with how you are valuing your books. So, folks, I am not here to tell you to use CGC or CBCS. Obviously, there are many tiers that are from CBCS that are cheaper than CGC. And hey, as a consumer myself, that's a huge green light for me to say, I'm going to try out CBCS. I'm just telling you facts though, folks. If you didn't know, now you know. CGC is cheaper than CBCS in one tier. I would love to hear all your thoughts in the comments below, folks. Let me know if you knew this. Let me know if you knew this or this is something that you just learned today. Again, share your thoughts in the comments below. Please subscribe if you are just hanging out on the channel for the first time. Remember, I do make content almost every single day of the week. I appreciate you all for watching. Be well, and until next time.